Right, this webinar today is Own a Career in Selling Businesses, presented by myself, Jennifer Myers, who is a sales manager in Waikato. Unfortunately, couldn't join us today, so it's just me, who I am the sales manager for Link, Bay Plenty, Wellington and Hawke's Bay. I began business broking myself in 2013. So I had 10 years as a broker before I've come on as this role as sales manager. So I specialise in the health and beauty sector and distribution, services, homeware, amongst any other, all others, about 100 businesses that I sold. Right. So there's obviously, you've already been informed that there's a video recording of this presentation that we shared with you after the webinar. And your questions I will answer at the end. It's best to do that all in one go. If you just put those into the chat feature, please. If you're having any trouble hearing at all or viewing the slides, please raise your hand and I have a support person that will be able to help with that. And if you have any further questions afterwards, there's an email address there, seminars@linkbusiness.co.nz. Thank you again for joining us. Do you want to build a great work income while growing your network, setting your own hours and becoming pivotal in life-changing transactions? Then becoming a business broker may be ideal for you. It is a very, very interesting career. No day is ever the same. Even listing and selling businesses within the same industry, they'll all be so different with their own quirks. So you will never get bored and you certainly choose your own hours to work. So the agenda today, we will cover what is a business broker, what does a business broker do, like the cycle, the link sales cycle, what makes a great business broker, how to be successful, your earning potential, why now, it could be a really good time to jump into this career, and why would you choose to go with Link, the Link values, and are you ready? And then we'll do questions and answers at the end. So this just gives you a little overview of Link as a company. So we have 7 offices in the US, 7 offices in Australia, and 5 offices in New Zealand. So we are definitely the largest business brokerage company in Australasia. Started out in 1996 in Ellerslie, Auckland. Now operating as a mix of company-owned offices and franchise operations in New Zealand, Australia, and the USA. Right, so what is a business broker? So basically, we are a professional that facilitates the sale and purchase of a business. And you're typically paid by the vendor or the seller, the owner of the business. You will appraise the business values, complete listing agreements, which is obviously a legal formal documentation between Link and the business owner, which we call the vendor. Preparing businesses for sale, so that could be your advice and information about getting the business ready to go onto the market. When it is listed, you will complete an information memorandum document that will be given to purchasers that inquire on that business, and marketing the business for sale. So it's up to you, the broker, to create the marketing, the advertising basically of what is the right way to advertise this business. And if you look on our Link Business website, you'll notice probably 90% are actually confidential. So you might know what industry that business is in, but you would never know what the actual name, what that business is. And that's to protect customers, clients, staff, all those reasons of why we keep it confidential. And we've got here qualifying buyers. So once the business is listed and marketed, and then you'll have buyers will come to you through the marketing. All buyers must complete a confidentiality agreement before they have any information on the business. And then it's up to you, the broker, to qualify them. Are they genuine? Do they have the finance to purchase? Is this business right for them? And on and on. You'll report into your vendors. So it's got here vendor reporting. So ideally once a week, you'd give them a summary of who has inquired, if anyone's really interested to come for a viewing. Then you will negotiate agreements. So that's when a purchaser is ready to make an offer. You will be part of that a very pivotal part of the negotiating around a sale and purchase agreement. And then closing the deal and assisting with due diligence through to settlement. So plenty on the go. What does a business broker do? Guides clients through 9 steps. So obviously these are another form of sort of saying of what you would actually do in this role. Planning, business value appraisals, documentation, identifying buyers, marketing, qualifying buyers, sale and purchase agreement, due diligence, settlement. We sort of covered that in the previous slide. So this is the link sales cycle in a little bit more detail. So if we start up number 1, networking and prospecting. So as a business broker, your first job is to build your database of potential listings for the future. So network and prospecting, build your database. Industry specialization can be very beneficial if you have previous experience in a specific industry. That is quite good to specialize in that industry because you'll have contacts already and know quite a lot about it. So there's so many ways that you can be doing your networking and building that database. The most successful business brokers have the most comprehensive database of potential vendors that they contact usually 4 times, 5 times a year through electronic direct mail outs, through phone calls and all those sort of methods. So it's just connecting continually until that vendor is ready to list with you. And then we've got down below that nurturing prospecting, create, build and maintain a robust funnel of listings, create and contact strategy, monthly or bi-monthly market updates, phone calls, emails, face-to-face visits. And then when you get the opportunity, if a vendor says to you, yes, I think I'm ready to sell my business now, your next job is to actually do an appraisal. So we have an online appraisal tool, which is very advanced to help you through that process. You'll put in all the figures, turnover, cost of goods, and business running expenses and net profit, and you'll come to an appraisal based on that industry. So you'll be identifying the variables that determine the value and risk analysis, profitability, asset values that come with the business. All of that is taught to you. Listings, secure a signed sole agency agreement with vendor paid marketing. Sell link and yourself. Why would I list with you? Something else that's required for all real estate in New Zealand, so it's obviously business residential, is AML, anti-money laundering, is a government law that we have to do on all vendors when we list their businesses. Marketing, you create a comprehensive strategy to attract buyers. And then we've got buyer management, contact every buyer in a timely manner, qualifying them before you provide information. Communication is key in this whole role. Negotiation, you seek a win-win solution. So this is when an offer has been created from a buyer. They want to make an offer on the business. So they will tell you what their terms and conditions, and you'll help with clauses. And then eventually the offer will go to the vendor, and it's for you to negotiate both parties together so they agree on terms and conditions and price. And then we've got sale, formalise agreements, facilitate due diligence. You'll be liaising with the legal professionals, lawyers for both parties. And then we've got stay in close contact till unconditional. And that means that the business has sold once both lawyers declare it as unconditional. And then there's usually a period of between 2 to 4 weeks until settlement occurs. Settlement is a legal process for transfer of ownership and the business handover commences. So our role is particularly crucial up till unconditional. But of course, you would stay in contact with both parties for that further 2 to 4 weeks until the purchaser takes over the business fully. So we've got link sales cycle, networking. This is just once again reiterating what I've just covered. So we'll just quickly go through this. So networking, prospecting, building your database. Why are you targeting these sectors and businesses? So going back to specialisation is actually very valuable. We do have some brokers that cover all industries and also do very well, but it's quite neat to be able to specialise. You will find if you specialise in a particular industry, you'll get vendors contact you from all over the country if they happen to Google um, say hair salons for sale in New Zealand and then your name popped up lots, then they would contact you from no matter where they were in New Zealand asking you to sell their hair salon. Nurturing and prospecting, create, build and maintain a robust funnel. What is your contact strategy? So the general idea is your funnel of listings is that you're continually filling your funnel with listings and they're dropping out the bottom in sales. So you're listing, selling, listing, selling to be successful. Appraisal, identify the variables that determine the value, the risk analysis, the profitability, and the assets value that go with the business, and usually stock, of course. A high proportion of businesses have some form of stock or consumables that come with that business as well. So you'll need full financial information for the last 3 years, which you may have to normalise and check if there's any discretionary expenses in those accounts. And then you'll feed all the figures into our online value link tool. And then listing, obtain a sole agency agreement. Some of you are probably thinking or hearing me say sole agency. We don't tend to do general agencies with a business sale, not like residential. It's just too much work and it's hard to control confidentiality for your vendor if they're listed with more than one business broker at the same time. It's a fairly full-on process and thus our commission fees are higher than residential. So we've got obtain a sole agency agreement with vendor paid marketing. So we have various marketing packages and you will sell a marketing package to your vendors based on what is best for that particular listing. Marketing, create a comprehensive strategy to attract buyers and showcase the business potential. So we've got here link sales cycle buyer management. So as I said before, buyers that inquire through all the various forms that we're marketing, it's up to you, the broker, to get back to them within 24 hours during the working week and find out who they are, what they are, qualify them that they could be right for this business. Even though they have already done a confidentiality agreement, we don't just send out the information memorandum without actually checking that they are a true and valid purchaser. A negotiation, the sale process and settlement. So we just go back here, just covering the specialisation. This covers what you could consider specialising in. And as I said before, if you're interested in a particular industry or have knowledge or experience in that industry, that's ideal for you to specialise in. So accommodation, we definitely have accommodation specialists and they know everything from what's the normal multiple of profit in accommodation is likely to expect and all the ins and outs and quirks of selling accommodation. Hospitality is another one that brokers tend to specialise in. And because that's one of our fastest rotating industries for sales, some of our brokers would have sold the same restaurant or cafe 4 or 5 times within a 10-year period. So they do turn over quite a lot and you'll get to know all industry averages, what's based on the turnover of that cafe, how much coffee they should ideally be going through each week, the cost of that, food costs and wage costs, what's the averages in their expenses. Transport and distribution, manufacturing and engineering, retail, franchises are definitely something that would be good to specialise in if you have already owned a franchise yourself, because you'll understand kind of the quirks around that, can be a more tricky process with actually selling, because it's obviously taking into account the incoming purchaser being accepted as a new franchisee for that franchise. And every particular franchise will have their own criteria of what they need and what they want in purchasers. Professional services, we have sold like accountants and legal firms in here. Childcare is an industry that we usually have specialised brokers that look after also. ICT technology, automotive, import, export and wholesale, and health and beauty. And obviously there are other industries that are missing from here that are perfect for specialising in. What makes a great business broker? This will be interesting for you all. So a basic understanding of business accounts is not crucial, but quite beneficial, because obviously every opportunity you get to do a business appraisal, you need to understand profit and loss accounts, and be able to critique them and normalize them. There is lots of support, especially for your first 6 months to a year, and all appraisals would go through someone like myself, the sales manager, just to check that you haven't missed anything in your appraisals. Possibly having owned your own business. Now that's very beneficial, and a lot of business brokers have, a really high proportion have. So it's just that experience of you've walked in the shoes of your vendors. And if you've sold your business, you know that whole process as well. So it is very beneficial, but once again, not crucial. Comfortable and capable of prospecting. That is vitally important, that you are willing to prospect for listings, especially in your first 4 to 5 years as a broker. The harder you work with generating a big database and connecting regularly with that database, and knowing that some of those vendors you talk to today, they might not be ready for 3 years' time to sell, but they know who you are because you've contacted regularly with them. So there's various forms, and not all brokers like picking up the phone and just talking, cold calling and talking to a vendor. That's fine. There's other ways that you can go around that. Some brokers like just walking down the road, knocking on doors, talking to business owners. However, you need to be a little bit discreet around that, because a lot of business owners don't want their staff to see them talking to a business broker in case they get worried about the owner going to sell their business. But there are various forms of prospecting, but you must do that to be successful. You'll find if you work hard for the first 4 or 5 years, then the work will probably just start flowing in, which it did for me. Just calls all the time and emails. Hi, Lisa, can you please sell my business? Possible knowledge in certain industries. So that's obviously going back to specialisation and how that can be very beneficial. Ethical, honest, trustworthy. So obviously your duties as a real estate salesperson, because that's the qualification you need to be a business broker. So in New Zealand, you must have that qualification, and then you would divert off to being a business broker. Your duties, obviously your fiduciary duties are to both the vendor and the purchaser. So you must always be honest and trustworthy, and ethical at all times. Some sales background. Not crucial, but this is a sales job, so it is very beneficial if you have had some sales experience. And there's strong communication skills, good time management. So the time management, the reason around that is if you have a listing, you need to be in touch with your vendor at least once a week, reporting in, so they know that you're actually working for them and they know that their marketing is working and something's happening. In very quiet times, sometimes school holidays can go a little bit quiet with inquiries. You'd still regularly connect and say, look, no inquiries this week, school holidays, everyone's been at the beach, the weather's been amazing, have a great weekend and I'll be back in touch next week. And I used to tell my vendors, once we have a buyer wanting to make an offer, you'll get sick of hearing from me, because that's when it's very full on lots and lots of communication and questions right up until when the business is sold. But yes, you do have to be, although you have flexibility on when you work, you do have to be diligent of getting back to inquiries, to buyers in time, and keep in regular touch with your vendors. Disciplined, determined, and driven, because this would be your own business. You're an independent contractor as a business broker. Your success is based on how disciplined, how determined, and how driven you are. And ideally, this should be a full-time role. It's hard to get ahead starting out just part-time. You really want to go for gold and give it your best. And then we've got here prospecting. Make this a daily habit, even when you're busy. So the perfect scenario is 10 calls a day, or 10 in the morning, 10 afternoon. Do your 50 calls a week, or your 50 direct connections. And then do your regular posts, maybe once a week on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, promoting something about a new listing you might have just had, something to do with business broking, so that you're in front of people all the time. Leads, always follow up leads. If you don't, your competition will. So if someone refers a lead to you, and we do refer company leads to brokers, you need to act on them straight away, because they will get lost to competition if you don't. Marketing. Each business is unique. Make sure this is showcased. So we have a really strong marketing team in Auckland which help you with your ads and beautifying everything so that it's ready to go. But obviously you have to be a bit creative and coming up with the concept of how your ads want to look for the business that you've just listed. Closing deals, the ability to communicate with both parties, and often there's lawyers liaising with this as well, to ensure the deal is satisfactory to both is paramount. So communication, and email is your friend. Everything's backed up with email, so there's no questions later. If you have 15 listings, you've got 3 businesses in contract, and you're listing 3 businesses at the same time, you're extremely busy. So you've just got to keep on top of everything, and that your communication to everyone is flowing. And self-promotion. Treat every interaction as a way to build relationships and encourage referrals. So having an accountant that you have a close association with and you meet for coffee every 6 months is a great way to get referrals, because obviously accountants are dealing directly all the time with business owners. So they're usually the first one to know when a business owner has had enough and they're ready to sell. So you have a good rapport with an accountant, they're going to think of you first. So that is good. And promoting yourself through LinkedIn and all those various manners. So earning potential. The vast majority of brokers earn 6-figure salaries, and the top brokers in the country can earn 7-figure gross commissions. Your income will be solely based on your ability to facilitate sales of a business. And remembering, going right back to, it's creating opportunities to do appraisals to get listings, and then they will lead to sales. So it all falls back to you getting those opportunities to list a business. Income fluctuations. You may earn more in busier months and less in quieter months. That is a very normal and real situation in this industry, that you may earn a huge amount in one month and then you may go 3 or 4 months with no income at all. So you do need to be relatively disciplined with your income. It's just how it rolls. Independent contractor, you'll have control over the work you take on, which will dictate your earnings. Totally true. And obviously you have your own running expenses, like your vehicle, your phone, if you need a new laptop, travel, that is all tax deductible through your accountant, because you are an independent contractor. Your income is determined by you. Your ability to close a deal successfully will be reflected in how much you continue to earn. Right, so why now? Why it's the right time now to become a business broker? We're seeing baby boomers get ready for their exit chapter, bringing with them a massive increase in business sales globally. So that's an absolute reality, that many business owners in our country will be retiring over the next 5 years. So there will be, at some point, a big influx of businesses that will need to be transacted. We're predicting over the next 5 years. Reach, as the world's most trusted business brokerage, we generate hundreds of leads every week. This delivers a consistent, ongoing sales pipeline to our brokers. As I mentioned before, it is up to you to find your own opportunities for your listings. However, we do also generate company leads. Professional development. Each of our business brokers receive all the training they need to be successful in listing and selling businesses, and ongoing support to continue in advancing their career. Yes, there is a huge amount of support through Link, from all the divisions in Auckland, which is the listing department, the marketing department, and what we call deals, which is doing your sale and purchase agreements and liaising with lawyers at the time of unconditional, but you also have the management support in place too. So you're never alone. In the Bay of Plenty office, we're a really close team that have always shared deals, shared ideas, who can help each other with clause writing. So there's, plenty of help around. And we've got professional development, we've covered that. Rewards, get compensated for your hard work and take advantage of a generous uncapped commission structure. Scope, there's plenty of scope for Link brokers to specialise in a sector they're particularly passionate or knowledgeable about. So, lifestyle. This, you choose when you want to work and when you don't. However, being a business broker is definitely more Monday to Friday, 8:30 till 5. We tend to work more business hours than a residential agent, is a lot more weekend work, obviously with open homes and people working during the week, wanting to have visits to homes. I think that viewings at businesses would be percentage-wise way, way, way less than they are with residential. Obviously, it's a very niche market, being a business broker. So in New Zealand, I think there's about 14,500 residential real estate salespeople. For business brokers, I think there's about 300. So hugely different. Everyone needs a house to live in, but business, not that many people really overall of the whole population actually buy a business. So when you do a business viewing, it often is out of business hours so that staff aren't there, but you only tend to do a business viewing when you have a very serious purchaser that's pretty close to making an offer. So you'll deal with most of your buyers via questions, answers, profit and loss accounts that you'll send them, copy of the lease of the premises where the business is, all sorts of information, quite a lot before there'll be a business viewing. And then work the hours that you choose and uncapped earning potential. So why Link? As a Link business broker, you'll have wraparound support from industry-leading smart tools to expert advice and resources. So attractive commission structure, online training programs, and regular monthly business broker-centric training. So there's plenty of training. We have a meeting, an hour meeting every week. I actually run two separate business broker sales meetings that are tailored for different areas in the country. So there's our regular catch-ups, plus there's also online excellent training provided all the time, which is always recorded, so brokers can always tap into our documents in SharePoint and review any of our past trainings at any time. International network of other brokers, award-winning and sophisticated valuation tool. That's our value link that I mentioned earlier. That's how you will do your appraisals. It's all done online. All our statistics of previous sales over the last probably 10, 15 years is all fed continually into this tool, and that's what creates our multiple of profit to create our value, and it's all industry categorized. So obviously a multiple of profit for maybe a import distribution business would be quite different than just a general retail business, and that's continually getting updated with the latest information. So full office use and marketing materials brochures. So yes, office can come in anytime you like, and we have masses of all the marketing tools that you would need to promote yourself and to promote Link, available at any time. So no listing restrictions, list any business anywhere in the country. So that's another really interesting difference as opposed to residential. With my business sales, I've always been based in Bay of Plenty, but I think probably 60% of everything I sold was actually in Bay of Plenty, and another 40% was outside of Bay of Plenty, all around the North Island. And it's because I specialise in specific industries. So you can list and sell a business anywhere. Anywhere in New Zealand, there's no restriction. You just can't market yourself as a broker that belongs to that region. You'd always appear as a broker based in the area where you're residing, but you can list and sell anywhere. We have bespoke CRM, that's our OneLink, and broker dashboards, all sorts of systems to help you, and where all the documents are stored to help you. Copyright and information memorandum formatting. So that's our copyright and marketing team in Auckland. So you'll create your information memorandum when you've listed a business, and then that will go up to copyright to be formatted, beautified, images added, so it's ready to get signed off by your vendor and then to send out to your buyers. So you don't need to do all that side yourself. Outsourcing for complex AML. So we use an outsourced company for all our AML when we list a business. We have monthly awards and prizes, and then we have big national awards each year. So plenty of networking with the whole Link family in New Zealand. So why Link? 30,000 plus business owners have trusted Link to sell their business. So in our history, we've 6 billion plus in businesses sold. Our award-winning Value Link online appraisal tool that I just mentioned. 3,000 plus businesses listed globally at any one time. 30,000 plus business owners have trusted Link to sell their business. The value that the 6 billion of in the first category here, that's the value of the businesses sold. 250,000 plus qualified buyers in our database. Why Link? We have 2 times the number of buyer inquiries than our nearest competitor, 2 times the volume of web traffic and digital presence than our nearest competitor. And Link values. A bit about our values here, which are really important to us. Truth, we're candid, honest, and ethical to the core. So what I prefer of my team, my brokers, is to do a very honest and realistic appraisal for our vendors. It's like with house listings, exactly the same. The vendor or the business owner chooses the listed price. We don't choose that. We guide them and we say what we realistically see the business will sell for, but it's ultimately their choice. But I would rather brokers are honest in their appraisal, because in the end, that's usually what the price will come back to. If it's overpriced, you tend to miss a whole lot of buyers in the first instance. But however, there may be other companies that may tend to, as what it's called is buy the listing, so they overvalue to get the listing, but it's not such a good look in the end, because usually the price will come down to what the true value is. Proof, we're strong on results and we can prove it. Integrity, we value our reputation and have strong principles. Know-how, we're highly trained experts at leveraging value and selling smarter. Details, accuracy and thoroughness are paramount to us, and confidentiality, that's a really, really important one. We protect our clients' commercial interests and work diligently to keep information confidential as required. So any businesses we discuss in-house, like at our sales meeting, which we do every week, all our new listings, it's just goes without saying, all our brokers know we never ever mention any businesses that are on the market when we leave here. So don't discuss with partners anything, it's all confidential, and you get very used to working that way. I used to have vendors sometimes say, if I went to visit them for the first time to get details to do an appraisal, I say, have you got a sign written vehicle? And I said, oh, absolutely not. So you've sort of got to be discreet on who you are. You wouldn't want to pull up outside a business to get information with Link business sales all over the side of the vehicle. So confidentiality, complete opposite to residential, where the more you get out the address and the look of the house that's for sale, that's more beneficial. We've got to almost sell a secret, and you get very good at doing that until you are sure that your purchasers are genuine and they've completed a confidentiality agreement. Then they get information about the business. So Link's vision to be the most successful, trusted and profitable business brokerage network in New Zealand and Australia. Our Link mission, we sell businesses with a commitment to integrity, expertise and innovation, creating new chapters in people's lives. And then, are you ready? So what you need to do to become a business broker to start with is obviously you will connect with me after, or the nearest sales manager, I should say, after this webinar, and then we'll sort of have a discussion and work out, yes, that you seem ideal for this, or maybe this isn't the right career for you. And then you'll go, if you don't already have your real estate license, that's the first thing to do. I believe this can be done in about 6 weeks full time. And the quickest probably part-time if you're in a full-time job. Probably the fastest would be 12 weeks. Longer if you have other commitments, but the fastest is about 6 weeks. And I think the cost is somewhere between 1,000 and 1,400. And then you pay for your license. Once you pass the course, you pay for your license. I think it's about $750, and that needs to get renewed each year. And there's ongoing training each year to keep your license. So we organise that for you. There's 10 hours of verifiable training that we tend to do in our boardroom each year over 2 days, 9 till 3 or 9 to 2:30. And then you also need to do 10 hours of non-verifiable training, which I organise with guests coming in to speak to us on things that are all relevant to our industry. So the things that you will need once you're ready to go is a laptop, smartphone vehicle, obviously, to be able to go to meet up with vendors and have viewings with purchasers, and determination. So your next steps, Link independent contractors agreement. After you've done your license, I've just had a chap that's just finished today his last of his course, and now he's waiting for his confirmation that he's passed, and then he'll apply to the REA for his license. So from next week, we're going to start onboarding him. So you'd sign a Link independent contractors agreement. You'll receive your national certificate in real estate salesperson level 4. And I've just got listed here where you can do that in New Zealand. Salesperson license, it's got here 1,000, $750 each year to renew it. So maybe the first time it might be a little bit more. And then you will do the Link Academy, which is your Intuito, and that will cover specifically about being a business broker. You know, there could be like 10 modules. I'm just trying to think how many there are, but it's really interesting, gives you a great overview of the role. Because your real estate training will be largely targeted towards residential, but the legal aspects of it and your duties that lie between your vendors and purchasers, all that will cross over to both industries, but they just don't cover a lot to do with being a business broker. So, questions and answers. Can anyone, if you could just type a message here to me if anyone has any questions, and I will get back to you if I can answer them on the spot. Nothing in here so far. Question, is there one in there? Is there a mentorship support where we can stay in touch with sales manager and get support around creating a funnel? Mentorship support. I'm just trying to work out what you're meaning there, mentorship. So this is it is fully commission based. Obviously your sales are fully commission based. So you will certainly learn a lot from other brokers, but you can't really start in the industry at all until you have your real estate license, and then you've done your Intuito and you're fully onboarded with Link, and then you'll learn all the next part. or shadowing. So, okay, I see there that or shadowing as another broker. Once again, you would have to have your real estate license and be onboarded. Otherwise, it's just a bit risky with all our our own confidential information and IP for LIG. But once all that happened, then you're fully guided and can certainly connect with other business brokers. Any other questions there? How many businesses would an average broker sell in a year to make a decent living? Okay, so I actually always worked on about 10 sales or 12 sales a year, and I think my largest ever year I did 18 sales, but quite a few of those were smaller businesses. You could sell 3 large valued businesses over $1 million and make a really, really good income that way around. So it's all dependent on the value of the business that you're selling as to what the commission rate will be and that what you'll earn from that. And there you go. What is the success rate for people signing up to the training? So that's Fiona asking that question. Fiona, I don't think anybody has actually, I don't know of anyone that's actually failed the course. I think it would be very, very hard to fail your real estate course because you would get an opportunity to resit that part again if it was one particular module. So it's made up of modules. So yeah, I'd say pretty well 100% success rate. Can a link broker work from anywhere? Yes, they can work from anywhere. So I do have some of my team that just come into the sales meeting every week via Teams. So they're remote brokers. We definitely have remote brokers. So anywhere in New Zealand, as long as you have good internet connection, obviously, because that's the most crucial part of your job. How much is usually average commission for a vendor? So that just totally is dependent on what the value of the business is. So we're sitting under 10% commission, and we have a minimum in the region of 25,000 minimum, or a thereabouts 9.95% of commission. So it depends on where the business lies. Our high value businesses will probably be a lower commission rate than that. So there's so many variables to this job, so many variables on exactly what the commission will be based on that particular listing. There's a discreet. Any leads in regards to real estate license? Thanks. So someone's asking here about my suggestion. I just talked to someone the other day who has really good knowledge on all the different training for real estate in New Zealand, and he believes open polytech is still the best way to go. Percentage on brokerage fees, please. Percentage on brokerage fees. Sorry, don't understand what you're actually asking with that one. You mentioned to have our control of business opportunity, but do you expect a monthly number of leads or quarterly sales target? So that's a really good question, Paul. Brokers set their own KPIs or their own business plan for the year at the start of the financial year. Every year, and then I go through that plan with them and just check that that's realistic. It's not too low, ridiculously low that they're not going to make anything in the year, and then it's up to me to ensure that they reach their targets with support and a bit of obviously pushing from my end. Where are you at with your listings? Where are you at with your prospecting? So it's you control how much you want to make each year, and then with all the support and your own determination and dedication, that you hopefully will achieve your goals. And we've got here, I want to shift to the USA in coming years. Am I able to shift over there and continue working with Link? Oh, I'm sure that would be absolutely possible. Obviously, the rules in every country are a little bit different, like clauses, the legal sort of rules. But if you were a link broker in New Zealand for a while and got to know our systems and proficient in that, then you would, I mean, I can't guarantee that, but I can't see why that wouldn't be an issue. What is the commission percentage per sale? So as I just mentioned before, that commission rates, it's a little bit dependent on the value of the business. So we assess, appraise the business and what we feel in the end, but we do have a minimum. So our minimum is around 25,000 for no matter what value of the business is. And then once it gets up to a certain level, it goes on to a percentage. Is the commission structure decided by the Link team, or is it something brokers decide on their own? So we set the criteria that's market driven based on other bespoke business brokerage companies. It's reviewed when it needs to be reviewed based on inflation and various other reasons. So the company sets the commission rates. Brokers do have some discretionary levels that they can go to on those rates. When you say you have potential buyers, how are they allocated to the brokers, or is this one big database in the broker searches? So when we talk about that huge amount of buyers, that's everyone that has come through our website inquiring on a business. So everyone fills in a confidentiality agreement via the listings. They're driven to where that listing is on the Link business website. If you have a look yourself and click onto one of our listings, you'll see a big Inquire Now button, and that'll lead them to the legally binding confidentiality agreement. So your buyers will come to you based on your advertising for the business. You may get a buyer coming to one of your ads, and it turns out when the broker talks to them, that's not ideal for them. However, my work colleague has a business that may be perfect for you, and we do shared deals within the company. So it may be a split. Think of around 50-50 for both brokers, that they'll do the deal together if it is another business that broker is referring them onto, or it may be another one of your listings that is ideal as well. Percentage of fees go to the brokers, perhaps. So with the percentage of fees that go to the brokers, if you just think of as a really rough indication without going into too much detail, if you think of a 50-50 situation. So what your commission was, 50% for the broker, 50% for the company. Obviously, you have your own tax rate that you set from IRD, and being a real estate agent in New Zealand, you're taxed at source. So you don't have a great big tax bill at the end of the year. Each time you get commissions from a sale, then whatever you set your tax rate at, you will be taxed right there. So that's quite nice. At the end of the year, your accountant will just do the final of whether you get a refund or whether you have to pay just a little bit more because your tax rate wasn't set high enough and you ended up having a really good year. What level course we need to take? Level 4. Level 4 is your salesperson course. How much we pay to Link commission, we've just covered that one. If you just work on around 50-50, Link do that part for you. And how much percentage of commission goes to Link business per sale? We said about 50-50. Would you be sharing a copy PDF of the webinar? You get a copy of the webinar at the end? Yes. Considering the current New Zealand economy, are there many businesses up for grabs and there's an opportunity to invest our resources into? Businesses up for grabs. Yeah, interestingly, most of our businesses will be doing relatively well. So if a business is really struggling, it will be priced accordingly, or the business owner will quite often hold on to it and hope to trade out as we lift out of the current recession. So there are some industries that have done really well still in the last couple of years, and they've had no ill effects at all with the recession. So yeah, they should be priced accordingly anyway. What is the business broker's typical percentage of the commission Link charges? What is the business broker's typical percentage of the commission Link charges? I'm not sure if that's worded quite correctly, but I think I've covered that anyway. Steve, how long does the Link Academy take? So you could do your Link Academy, if you had time in a couple of days, quite easily. You just want to get that done because then you can be fully onboarded. Yeah, would be easy peasy. I mean, if you're working full time and have to do it in the evenings, maybe it will take you 3 days or 4 days, but it's not onerous. It's just very interesting, different sections. Basically what I've covered today, but in a lot more detail. And there's just a yes/no quiz or a little quiz at the end, multi-choice, I should say. at the end. And if you fail one little module of it, then you just redo that and read back over the notes and try again. So you have a good understanding of being a business broker before you start getting your database together. What insurance do you need to hold, and is it hard, expensive to obtain? That's a good question, Fiona. So every year the company sources the insurance, and I think we've been with the same insurers for the last couple of years. So you must have professional indemnity insurance and general liability insurance. And the brokers, we get a very good rate. The company subsidises that, and the brokers do have to pay that as a cost every year. Yeah, I won't go into too much detail on costs, but it is certainly what would I say, fair and reasonable. But you'll be covered. I think it's up to 3 million cover each year. Does the purchaser have any comeback to the broker if the business doesn't go well? That's also a very good question, Fiona. It's if you cover your bases and do everything correctly, and in a sale and purchase agreement, you would always have due diligence as a clause. It will get picked up by admin if you accidentally forgot to even have that in a clause. So there's really no way you'll miss that. So the purchaser has had every opportunity during their 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks of due diligence on that business to ensure that they have adequately and their advisors, like their accountant, check the business out, then there should be no comeback on you selling that business, because it's how do we know how a purchaser is going to operate it afterwards? We can't be liable for that at all. Can we take out our own indemnity insurance? You could, but it will probably cost you 4 times what the amount that Link does. And we've just had that confirmed, actually over 4 times the amount. So in a meeting recently, an insurer broker who happened to be in the meeting said that he had just done a quote for 2 guys that have just gone out on their own as business brokers, just a little wee one-man band, and their quotes for the insurance was over 4 times what we pay for exactly the same cover. So yeah, in your independent contractors agreement that you'd sign up when you joined with Link, it states in there that you must take on the company insurance. It's too high risk if you don't have insurance. So we've got, how long have you been a business broker and how has the journey been so far? Highs and lows. So I was a business broker for 10 years. And then I did another role for a year, and then I've been back as a sales manager for 18 months now. So as a business broker, I would say number one benefit that I enjoyed was the flexibility. So, but like, oh, the sun's shining, I'm not going to work this afternoon. There's nothing urgent that I need to get back to this afternoon, but I'll do 2 hours of emails tonight just to catch up, and then I'll do a big day tomorrow. So you've got all that flexibility. The harder you work, the more you'll earn, absolutely, like with anything. Can be hugely rewarding. You can have a month with amazing amount of commission that you can earn. And the lows would be having a business and contract right to the end, 4 weeks of due diligence, finance clause, finance approval, lease being reassigned to the new purchaser, and then the deal falls over last minute. Something goes wrong, the purchaser gets cold feet, and all that potential commission income you can see sitting right there is gone. And that can happen more than once, many times. So there's that, we're here to support each other. The highs are amazing and the lows are gutting. And you've just got to get back on and market that business again, and hope to find another buyer quickly. So yeah, pretty big. The support is amazing around you. And we, as I said before, we work very well as a team. There's no one that stands on anyone else's toes. Yeah. So is there any other questions? If you have anything else, I think there is the email address in the slides that you will get after the webinar, and so you certainly ask whatever you would like to, and I will get back to you then. So just wait a few more seconds. Thank you very much all for joining. And I hope that was beneficial to you. I'm happy to jump into a call or whatever if anyone's seriously interested and they think, yes, this sounds like what they would like to do. Okay, thanks everyone. Bye bye.